Kidnappers forced a woman into their van. But she recognized the driver's tattoo and started laughing. This story starts in a quiet stretch of Route 19, where the desert wind drags dust across abandoned gas stations and the sky hangs low like a warning. A woman named Elena Navarro stepped out of a fluorescent-lit grocery store holding a bag of lemons and a bottle of cheap ginger ale. It was June, well past midnight, one of those nights where even the shadows seem tired. But what happened in the next 30 seconds would become one of the strangest kidnapping cases investigators in Arizona had ever seen. Because Elena wouldn't just fight back. She would recognize something that would flip the entire crime on its head. And it began with her laughing at her kidnappers. Elena was an EMT, the kind of person who worked double shifts, skipped lunches, and always kept a hoodie in her car because hospitals were freezing. She was exhausted, ready to go home, feet aching, and the worst thing she expected that night was maybe a flat tire. But when she walked toward her car, a dark gray cargo van rolled up too slowly to be accidental. The side door ripped open, 2 masked men jumped out, and before she could scream, her groceries hit the pavement. Lemons rolled like slow-motion marbles. A gloved hand clamped over her mouth. Another lifted her feet. She felt her ribs squeeze against an arm as they shoved her inside. The door slammed, the van lurched forward, and suddenly she was lying on cold metal flooring, breath shallow, pulse skyrocketing. She was kidnapped. The first few seconds were pure terror, her brain screaming, "Not like this, please, not like this." But then the driver spoke. Just one word, "Go." That's all he said, but the way he said it, deep, raspy, like his throat had been sandpapered by cigarettes and anger, hit her like a flashbang. She knew that voice. No, not the voice. The cadence, the rhythm. As her eyes adjusted to the dim interior lights, she tilted her head just enough to see the driver's forearm resting beside the gear shift. And there it was, a tattoo she hadn't seen in 15 years. A crooked little stick-and-poke scorpion with one leg missing. And the moment she saw it, her terror shattered like thin glass. And she started laughing. Actually, laughing. Inside the kidnapper's van. The 2 masked men in the back froze. "What the hell is she laughing at?" one of them barked. Elena couldn't stop. It wasn't hysteria. It was disbelief mixed with the crashing realization of, "You have got to be kidding me." Because the man driving that van wasn't a stranger, wasn't a criminal mastermind, wasn't some cartel soldier. It was Leo Vargas, her childhood neighbor, the boy who used to eat cereal with water because his family couldn't afford milk, the kid who tattooed a scorpion on his arm using a safety pin and a jar of Walgreens ink, the friend she used to protect from bullies, and he had just kidnapped her. He didn't recognize her yet, but she recognized him instantly. Her laugh cut through the van like a blade. "Leo," she said, voice steady now, "you seriously picked the wrong person?" The van jerked. The driver stiffened. One of the masked men leaned closer. "Yo, did she say your name?" Leo didn't answer, but his knuckles went bone-white on the wheel. Elena pushed herself upright, eyes narrowed, and said, "Take off the mask, Leo." The van swerved again, enough to send one kidnapper stumbling. Then the driver muttered, "No, no way. Elena Navarro?" The 2 goons looked at each other, then at her, confused. Leo finally turned, and sure enough, the aging, tired, stress-lined face of the boy she once knew stared back at her. He looked like he'd been chewed up by life, and spit back out. His eyes widened. This wasn't supposed to be you. That line chilled her more than the kidnapping itself. Not supposed to be you. Meaning they were targeting someone else. Meaning things were already spiraling out of control. Leo slammed the brakes, and the van skidded to a stop on a dirt turnout miles from town. Dust clouded around them like smoke. He jumped out, yanked the side door open, and hissed at the other men, "Take off the masks!" They hesitated, then obeyed. Two guys in their 20s, jittery, inexperienced, terrified that their plan, whatever it was, had just blown up. Elena locked eyes with Leo. "You have 10 seconds to tell me what the hell this is." Leo backed up, running his hands through his hair, pacing, breathing too fast. "It wasn't supposed to be you, Elena," he repeated. "The woman we were supposed to grab drives the same model car, same color, same grocery store at night. We got the wrong one." Elena scoffed. "So what? You were going to kidnap someone else, and that makes this better." Leo winced. "You don't understand. I didn't want to do this. I got mixed up with people. Dangerous people. I thought it'd be quick. Easy. No one would get hurt." You could almost feel the desert go silent around them. Elena didn't move, didn't blink. She simply asked, "So, what happens now?" Leo looked genuinely broken. "We're already in it, too deep. If we let you go, we're dead. If we keep you, you're dead. And I can't do that to you." One of the younger kidnappers stepped forward, panicked. "We got to finish the job. If not, Ramos will—" Leo spun and slammed him against the van. "Shut up." Elena's pulse spiked at the name. Ramos. She knew that name. A local trafficker whose reputation was a mix of rumor, fear, and violence. Someone who didn't care who got hurt. Someone Elena had treated victims of more than once. If he was the one behind this, they were all in serious danger. She had to think fast, and she did. Because EMTs don't just handle emergencies. They analyze, adapt, and improvise. She raised her chin and said, "Leo, listen to me. You may think you're trapped, but you're not. I can help you, but only if you help me first." Leo looked at her with a mixture of hope and despair. "What can you possibly do?" she answered. "Get me my phone." The younger kidnappers panicked. "We're not giving her her phone." But Leo hesitated. Elena kept her voice low, controlled. "I can call in something anonymous, something off books, something that buys you time. But if Ramos finds us first, we all die. I'm your only shot at walking away from this." After a long, painful silence, Leo reached into his pocket, pulled out her phone, and placed it in her hand. She dialed a number, not 911, but dispatch, the private EMT line, a trick she'd learned over a decade on the job. She disguised her voice just enough and relayed a coded message meant for first responders, the kind that meant possible mass casualty event in remote location, law enforcement backup required. She hung up. Leo stared. "How long do we have?" Elena replied, 5 minutes if the sheriff's deputy is close. 10 if he's not." The younger kidnappers began panicking, cursing, pacing. Leo looked at them, then at Elena, and whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm so damn sorry." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The next few minutes were thick with tension. Every sound in the desert felt like a threat. Every wind gust felt like a vehicle approaching. But then headlights appeared far down the road. The kidnappers froze. "We got to run," one yelled. Leo didn't. He stood still, shoulders dropping, like a man who has spent years running and finally got tired. Elena whispered, "Do the right thing, Leo." For a moment she thought he might, but then another set of headlights appeared, coming from the opposite direction, bigger, faster, brighter, and Elena instantly knew. "That's not the sheriff," she said. The younger kidnappers bolted into the dark. Leo cursed and ran around the van, grabbing something from under the seat. Elena heard metal click. A gun. A matte black SUV tore into the dirt turnout so fast gravel erupted like shrapnel. Doors burst open. Men with rifles stepped out. Ramos's men. Leo shouted, "Elena, get down!" Gunfire cracked the night open. The sheriff's cruiser swerved as bullets tore into its hood. Elena dropped behind a rock formation, heart exploding in her chest. The shootout was chaos. Dust, muzzle flashes, screams. Leo sprinted toward her, shielding her with his body, as rounds tore into the ground. She grabbed his jacket and screamed, "Leo, stop! You'll get killed!" He yelled back, "I'm not letting them take you!" A bullet caught him in the side. He collapsed beside her, gasping. And at that exact moment, 3 more sheriff cruisers crested the hill behind them, lights strobing like the wrath of God. Deputies flooded the turnout, and Ramos's men scattered, overwhelmed. 1 was tackled, 2 were shot. The SUV peeled away and vanished into the night. When the dust finally settled, Elena crawled to Leo, pressing her hands against his wound. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Stay with me, Leo." He coughed blood, eyes fluttering. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted—" His breath hitched. "I just wanted out." She squeezed his hand. "You're gonna get out. I promise." But Leo Vargas died before the ambulance arrived. The younger kidnappers were found hiding behind boulders a quarter-mile away. Ramos was arrested 2 weeks later in a sting operation, charged with trafficking, kidnapping conspiracy, and 6 other felonies. The sheriff credited Elena's coded call for saving multiple lives. Reporters called it the van kidnapping miracle. Elena called it something else entirely. The night an old friend tried to rewrite his fate and ran out of time. Justice was served. The victim survived. The criminals were arrested. The story should have ended there, but it didn't. Because months later, when investigators searched Ramos's seized laptop, they found a list of names, targets, high-value, high-leverage kidnappings, and next to one name, circled twice in red, was written Elena Navarro. She wasn't a random mistake at all. She was the intended target from the beginning. Leo had lied to protect her until the moment he died. If you want more stories like this, wild, cinematic, and completely mind-bending, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, because the next story is even more unbelievable.